So when you watch back the film from last night, what stood out to you?
Turnovers in transition really hurt us. We did a great job of getting out and running and putting pressure on the rim, but we left a lot of points on the table from just careless passes in transition. Defensively, there's that slippage there as far as our communicating, the attention to detail that we've been pretty good at so far this year. It was, especially in the first half, it kind of allowed them to get comfortable. We weren't pushing them off their spots. We weren't winning that battle at the line of scrimmage that we like to talk about, and it allowed them to multiple players on their team to get comfortable for the rest of the game.
Is it natural around this time, or you expecting something?
What, the slippage?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's natural, but it's our job to address it, make it become aware of it, show clips of it, and then and try to reel it back in.
What did you think about Lonzo's reaction to that shoving match, the way he just kind of walked by? Do you think that's something you talked to him about in terms of just team camaraderie and just standing up for your guys?
Yeah.
Did you have that conversation with him today?
Someone on the team talked with him, yeah.
Do you think that's just something everybody in the NBA kind of has to go through when they come in? And they just, because in college or high school you would normally say just walk away from it and don't get involved. But in the NBA it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't think everybody does. There's some players. I'm sure Patrick Beverly, the first time something went off on a court, he was looking forward to it. So I don't think everybody does, but it's all part of the learning process.
Did someone on the team talk to him? Is that something that you want to come from a player?
I want everything to come from the players. We're going to coach our lessons and coach our philosophy on how we want to play and how we want to do things as a group. But whether somebody's taking too many shots, somebody's not playing hard on defense, I want players to hold each other accountable on that and feel comfortable enough within our environment to be able to call each other out on anything like that. So it's nice when that happens.
Who was it that
That's a locker room thing unless they want to share it. I'm not going to what our players talk about in behind the doors. I'm not going to repeat in the media.
And devil's advocate on the other side of it, he walks away from something like that. Can't you say he's keeping his head and he's kind of being smart about things too?
Absolutely.
But it's just that the optics don't look good, right, from the team perspective. From a team
yeah, in which I don't really care about how that looks because our guys love Zoe. He's the type of rookie. He's one of the few rookies I've ever seen that everybody just is kind of drawn towards him. Vets, everyone really wants him to succeed. They all love playing with his group, whether it's practice or the game. So I think they all know that what that looked like isn't what Zoe is about and isn't symbolizing what his feelings are on that type of situation. So I know the general public in the internet world likes to do what they do, but it didn't really affect our team at all because they know who Zoe is and they know what he's about.
So far, are you a little bit disappointed with this homestand?
Yeah, we've done some nice things, but I felt like we were really starting to play some consistent, solid basketball, and we lost that somewhere along that road trip, and we just got to get it back.
Brandon's been playing a lot better in terms of putting his head down and getting to the hoop. But I was looking at the numbers, and I think he's attempted 1 3-pointer in the last 3 games, 5 in the last 7. Do you think that shot's something where he needs to keep shooting, or right now you want him to be one of those guys that scales it back?
One of those guys, all those guys, every guy, scale it back until we start making some more. So, you know, with Brandon, I want him shooting it when it's a good rhythm. If it gets swung from side to side and it's a kick, swing to the corner type of three, take it all day long. But with Brandon, he's so good at getting to the rim and putting pressure, you know, on the other team's defense by breaking them down. It's not so much that I don't want him shooting threes. I believe he can make them. He works on them every day. They look good. But we need him attacking the rim. You know, we need that part of his game. So he's been much more effective at that. I think he's doing a much better job of just attacking the pass and not holding the ball and dancing with it, but just, you know, getting downhill and starting to figure out his angles a little bit better. And I think that's what we need more of a team than him shooting threes right now.
You guys are. When it comes to Lonzo Fitzgerald, have you guys, is it shooting threes? Is that something that you've discussed with him?
Yeah, well, along the same lines. With Zoe, if you're open and it's in rhythm and the momentum is a certain way, let it fly every time. What we don't want are the stagnant, like we're sitting around and somebody's kind of sagging off me, so shoot that one. That's not a good three in my opinion for our team, and it's not the way we want to play. So he falls in the same line with everyone else on our team. The situation and what has led up to that shot in that possession is what determines if it's a good three or a bad three.
The team is or you guys are sort of approaching like the 20% or 25% of the season that's approaching. So it might be that it's not as early in the season as obviously earlier in the season. What do you like about the way or where the team is at this juncture?
We're still further ahead than where I thought we'd be at this point. You know, what I asked for to start the season was that we get better at defense and that we compete every single night, and we give it that effort that is required to do both of those two things. And they've done a pretty good dang job of consistently doing that each and every game so far. So a lot of that I'm very impressed with them on, as far as being able to accomplish that. And now I think a lot of our struggles come more from the mental side of the game and the understanding what this league is and how hard it is, and the schedule and everything else, and playing together with a new group of guys and getting to know each other's games. All that is, I think, what's kind of our next step, our next phase in this process. And that's, you know, there's a lot of room for growth there, so that's kind of exciting.
Back to Brandon, with such a young player, obviously he's worked on everything, every part of his game over the summer. Do you want him to just try to work on everything during the season in terms of establishing the three and establishing the mid-range, or do you want him to just like focus on one or two things and then hit, you know? Like, do you want him to just get really good at something specific?
For him, I want him to, in practice and drill work, to work on certain things that we've talked about. And during the games, I just want him to play basketball. That's what he's best at. You know, there's some players that are shooters, 3-and-D type of guys. For Brandon, he's at his best when he's not trying to be a scorer, when he's not trying to be a three-point shooter, but he's just playing basketball and reading what the defense is giving him, and that's sometimes making passes and sometimes attacking the rim and sometimes that's shooting threes.
Along those lines, with the three-pointers and him not taking them, do you think it's something conscious, or is it just like, you know, he hasn't been finding them in the flow of the game and
he's been doing a better job of attacking the rim. So instead of running to the three-point line in transition, he's running to the rim, which is what we want. On, you know, driving kicks, he's doing a good job of using his length to create angles and get layups, and we'll always take layups over threes.
Last one. Is this team, are they the records that they are, or are they better than their record right now?
It's tough. I mean, it's that we've played well enough to have a better record than we have. But you know that we're a young team that's still figuring a lot of things out, and you know, I don't know if we're better than what our record says we are, but we've played well enough to have a better record than what our record says we are.